Now, if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I love the Game Grumps. Yep, never had a bad thing to say about them in my life. I mean, heck, I made an entire video dedicated to how funny they were a couple years back, so it's safe to say I'm a fan. If for some reason you aren't aware of this channel or its hosts, Game Grumps has a YouTube channel that got its start all the way back in 2012. They made Let's Plays of video games, some old, some new. It immediately shot up in popularity, mainly due to the chemistry of the two hosts, Egoraptor, more colloquially known as Aaron Hansen, and John Jafari, who went by JonTron. The two worked off each other excellently, with John being the straight man to Aaron's buffoonery, while still getting in on the wackier jokes here and there. Going back and watching some of their old Let's Plays, it's no surprise that the channel grew so fast. Oh yeah, it may have also had something to do with the fact that the two hosts already had amassed a huge respective audience who were eager to see more of them. Yeah, so anyway, things were all fine and jaunty until disaster struck. John announced he would be leaving the channel in 2013 to focus more on his own content, with his position as co-host being replaced by another one of Aaron's acquaintances, Dan Avidan. Despite this sudden switch up in hosts, and many die-hard fans citing this as the end of the Grumps, the channel still grew rapidly, with Aaron trying to turn it from a simple Let's Play series to a multimedia empire with lots of merch, books, video games, etc. Now, if there's one other thing you should know about me, it's that I'm always interested when I find out a YouTuber has tried to make a jump to another medium. Whether it be Fred and his oddly charming first movie, Smosh and their less charming film, or the focus of today's video, the Game Grumps attempt at a live-action comedy series. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you out there haven't actually seen this series or even heard about it, so I'm sure this will be a great learning experience for all of us. But first, now, if there's one other thing you should know about me, it's that I have plushies that are only available for another few days before disappearing forever, so be sure to grab one, but don't just take my word for it. How about listening to my good friend and guest star for this video, Aaron Hansen?
Listen, this is Aaron from Game Grumps. Got a very special, serious message for you. My boy LS Mark over there on YouTube makes all kinds of great videos about cartoons. Not even cut. Fucking plushies are available right now. And I don't know if you haven't heard the word. This is the best goddamn plushie you ever seen. Why aren't you buying these plushies on Makeship? Now, you don't want to deprive other people of this beautiful plushie, do you? I don't think so. LS Mark, go grab it right now. Makeship, okay?
I remember seeing the trailer for the Game Grumps new show in 2017 and being cautiously optimistic. There were a couple red flags right out of the gate. Red flag number 1. It's a YouTube Red series, and if you know anything about YouTube Red, it's that they aren't known for being of the highest caliber. And yes, that means I bought YouTube Red for the sake of this video, and even saying that makes me feel dirty. Red flag number 2. It definitely seems to be targeting the hashtag gamers, with the plot being about Aaron and Dan starting an esports team, which just sounds like a terrible idea. And red flag number 3. Aaron and Dan are not professional actors, and have shown no signs that they can be leading men in a scripted comedy series. Yeah, that's kind of a big one. But who knows? It could end up being amazing. I mean, it does have Dan Harmon of Community and Rick and Morty fame as the executive producer. So hey, I guess all we can do is watch for ourselves and see. So Good Game is serialized. Sort of. They're trying to tell one unified story throughout the show, and there are a grand total of, 6 episodes. So I don't see the harm in just going through each of them one by one, and seeing what the funny Grumps have in store for us on their esports escapades. Episode 1 is mainly focused on introducing and setting up the characters we're going to get to know and love throughout the rest of their journey. There isn't much of a story to speak of here, it's really just gag after gag of them getting the band together. So with little to no story to speak of, it is vital that the characters we meet are interesting and likable.
Also, I need to correct you on something. Lucid Nightmare isn't looking for players. We're looking for gamers. Players play, gamers game.
This is the first joke of the series. At least I think it was a joke. Immediately I gotta address the elephant in the room, and it's that if you are not a fan of Game Grumps, this show is probably gonna be really boring to you. It feels like this is a series created solely for people who like Aaron and Dan on Game Grumps, and want to see them act silly together. I get it's a Game Grumps show and all, so that should be a given, but I don't know, how about let it stand on its own? Reading the comments, the only thing I see people bring up is stuff like, "Oh my god, Aaron and Dan are so adorable," which just kind of shows what the people who enjoyed this show were really interested in seeing. So just how are Aaron and Dan in their first somewhat professional on-screen performances?
Hey.
Hey.
What'd you do all day?
Different stuff, errands.
Errands?
Yeah.
What kind of errands?
Post office?
Post office?
Yeah.
You went to the post office?
Yeah.
They are like shockingly awful at acting.
You know, I was watching and I'm wondering, which one is the funny guy?
Ern says every line like this, like all begrudgingly, because his character's supposed to be too cool for everyone to handle. But I thought the appeal of Ern was that he was supposed to be really loud and eccentric. Why give him a role not catered towards his strengths? And Dan, oh poor little innocent Dan, roped into an acting job with little to no experience. He's the worst part of the show. He's supposed to be the wacky guy that's way in over his head and loves all his friends, but it is impossible to take anything he says seriously, or even comedically, because he's constantly speaking with this really soft tone that sounds like he's trying way too hard to come off as a wide-eyed child.
No! I can yell too! Hi, my name is Ryland, and these are my two forms of expression. Oh, I'm fake chill because I don't want to admit that I want to win. Or I'm a little fucking baby doing a tantrum because I fucking...
Oh my God. Are you okay?
The only funny thing about their performances is how much Aaron bragged about improving as an actor because of it.
I improved a lot as an actor. It's cool. Because you just get better when you do it more. And plus I was around good actors, so... Like me.
So other than Aaron and Dan, who else is on this team? Well, the rest of them can be boiled down to simple archetypes. None of them are really given any real characterization, which makes it hard for me to remember anyone apart from the Grumps. There's an old guy who is bad at the game, but he's allowed on because if not, he'll evict both of them. Then there's this kid who's supposed to be your average, edgy, misogynistic gamer who says curse words, wow. Then there's the workaholic sporty girl. And finally, we've got the gamer girl. Aw yeah. I'd like to note that 9 times out of 10 when this girl is brought up in this episode, it's to point out the fact that she is indeed a gamer with 2 X chromosomes. None of these guys have any chemistry with each other. Not even Aaron and Dan, who at this point have been talking to each other for half a decade. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. They try to do some big speech at the end, but I genuinely can't take anything anyone is saying seriously, because the acting brings the whole thing down. I mean, not that the writing was anything special to begin with. It's so clearly written by someone who's never played a video game since the Intellivision. See, now that's a gaming reference for ya. Am I on your level yet, good game? Can you hire me? All I gotta say is pwn and noob, and suddenly I'm a qualified good game writer. The only modicum of joy I faced while watching this was the brief cameo from Terry Crews, who's made his second best guest cameo since the hit movie White Chicks. Let's just move on to the next episode. Aaron did say that over the course of filming he improved as an actor. Let's just hope it's sooner rather than later. I'm also curious what they're teasing at the end here with Jesse Cox. Looks like we've got a little mystery on our hands. And clearly it's the mystery of Aaron's missing shirt. He's got it on. Now it's off. Ooh, spooky. Episode 2 is aptly titled, Everybody Calls Everybody a... Come on, I can't say that. When Kamal won't stop trolling, the team attempts to fix racism, sexism, ageism, and homophobia. Yes, that is the actual logline for this episode.
This is a serious problem.
Yeah, maybe a little too serious for a show called frickin' Good Game, the only show where we get to see Aaron Hansen attempt to fix racism.
I'm not gonna give you a trigger warning, so deal with it.
How did nobody writing this show realize how cringy that sounds? Normal humans do not speak like that. This show is just miserable. Everyone hates each other. The plot of this one is that members of the team keep being racist and homophobic towards each other, which is coming into conflict with their esports training, so now they've got to fix it. I just don't get what they were trying to accomplish here. It feels like a complete 180 from the previous one. Not to mention it only seems like the acting has gotten worse over time.
I improved a lot as an actor.
You think my name's Ryan?
What is it?
Ryland! How do you not know that? It's been 3 weeks!
Wipe that goddamn smirk off your face. Even the characters aren't consistent. Dan is like some sort of hippie guy now who's trying to be nice and calm to everyone and doesn't have a backbone. I don't get it. I thought every episode of this show was gonna be like, oh look, here we are at this gaming event today. Let's try and win, and hijinks ensue. But I guess it was just cheaper to film everything in this one bedroom set because it's just one scene after another of unlikable characters being racist and homophobic to each other. I just need to move on. There's nothing to say about this one.
I'm gonna say it!
This episode is called Self-Abuse. Not the fun kind. See, this is the only episode so far where I can tell what they were trying to do with it. This one focusing on the sporty girl and how in their attempts to make her the best she can be, the team ends up pushing her to focus all their time in practicing while not worrying about her mental health. That's a pretty serious issue, and one that actually seems appropriate to cover in a show like this. but in execution, yeah, what do you want me to say? It's bad. It should have been more personal, with the girl who I forget the name of. The team pushing her to this point just feels like pointless pressure. But if it were more so about how she's solely the one pushing herself because of this feeling of not being good enough, while the team remain blissfully unaware of what's going on behind the scenes, not only do I think the episode would have had a bigger impact, but also would have been way more realistic to how these scenarios actually are. Instead, it just builds up to her having a stroke and getting sent to what I think is supposed to be a hospital, but they clearly did not have the budget for that set, so they're just in a white room with a stock beeping sound effect playing over it. Speaking of stock, what is this score? Am I supposed to find this emotional? It's like a high school drug PSA. Other than that fun stuff, they also try to develop Aaron's character a bit more here, with him trying to make up with his old friend that humiliated him years back by uploading this video of him raging at a video game. But why was his webcam in the corner of his room? Whatever. It doesn't even go anywhere though. He tries to say sorry, but it turns out the guy is just a dick. Wonderful, glad we spent a total of 2 scenes focused on that fun stuff. This is by far the worst episode of the show. It comes off as so try-hard and shows a complete lack of understanding of how the internet works. So to raise viewership of their esports stream, the 5 of them decide to start a streaming circle where they stream together at the same time while also trying to steal viewers from the rival streams. But like, whoever wrote this clearly has no understanding of how streaming works. There are so many points where a character will just announce their plan or do some shady shit like hack into another streamer's computer, but like, you're streaming this to everyone right now. Everyone can see what you're doing. There are parts where everyone is huddled around a computer looking at something shady they did and say to someone else, go back and keep streaming so it's not suspicious. But there are 4 of you guys gawking at a computer right now that is still streaming to thousands of people. This is definitely where they wanted to show off their writing chops. The entire episode takes place in one location, and it's basically 20 minutes of nothing but gags. It's just a shame that none of these jokes they attempt to tell are funny. And if they wanted to just focus on telling random unfunny jokes, okay, wonderful, do that. But despite us already having an entire episode focused on the topic of insults within the context of an online gaming community, the sporty girl on the team keeps having racist remarks thrown at her from the chat, and while she doesn't really care, Aaron feels the need to constantly white knight her about it, and yells at the chat. And that's not even me using that as a buzzword, that's literally how she describes it.
I don't need you to white save me.
Have you seen what they're saying?
Hey, good game. You want to comment on the topic of racism in the gaming community? Fine, go for it. But if you're so preoccupied by funny random clowns and hilarious swatting attempts, meaning in all the time you devoted to the race stuff, all we get is Aaron being defensive on her behalf and her continuously saying, don't fight my battles for me, I just have to deal with it, and that's all you have to say, then maybe that's a sign that it needs to be cut out of the episode and it's too serious for a topic like you to deal with. Like I said, it's the worst episode of the show so far.
What are you guys talking about?
How great a job you're doing on that sandcastle, buddy.
That is the only joke I find remotely funny in this entire series. This episode is about...
No, I'm not unemployed, Mom. I'm a professional gamer.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely feels like by this point the show really has been building up to nothing. So in 20 minutes they try really hard to get the characters accepted into this big gaming tournament for the next episode, which is the finale. So it feels more like a prologue than anything else. They have to train the old guy to get better at the game, the boy and sporty girl start getting other players banned from the game, and gamer girl considers leaving the team, but then she doesn't with no real explanation. And they start to hint at some sort of romantic relation between her and Aaron out of nowhere. I honestly don't know what else to say about this one. It's just one big build up to the epic finale. They even do that whole cliche, oh no, we lost, but wait, another team got disqualified, so we're in the finale. I just don't care. Let's just get into the last episode. It is so painfully obvious that this is where all the budget for the series went to, with them going to this giant gaming arena, buying this brand new van, and visiting the mansion of Jesse Cox. It's so bizarre, it feels like a completely different show because of this. Did they at least manage to go out in a bang? What do you think? Again, it's like they realized that they completely wasted the past 5 episodes, and so try to cram in as many character arcs as possible for everyone, so it has at least the illusion of a fully developed story. They try to get into how the sporty girl is bi and struggles to fit in and find a boy or girl to be with, then they start to go further with that bond between Ern and Gamer Girl that started to be hinted at in the last episode. But they can't even go far enough with it to feel like it warranted being here. There's this really generic scene where they both reach down for some wine and hold each other's hands and lean in to kiss. But I can only imagine Ern's wife Susie was on set that day and wasn't allowing that shit to happen. Oh wait, there she is, yeah. Then because I guess they realized this hasn't happened yet, they forced in some conflict with Ern and Dan where Ern thinks he's gonna go and work for the enemy, but we already know he would never do that. It's just an excuse for the typical hero's journey thing, where Ern starts to head home from his adventure only to be once again called into action. Fairly certain Dan Harmon had a hand in that. This is of course when they all reunite, beat out their rival, and still end up coming in second in the tournament.
We just beat Lucid fucking Nightmare. We could beat God herself right now.
Presenting the winner of the first annual Kill Core Blood Match, Low Expectations.
See, that joke of them feeling on top of the world to then coming second could have been kinda funny if the editing to the show weren't so awful. And that's good game. We end on a fart joke and the gang live on to game another day as Jesse Cox gets shot by Danny's friend Brian and is dragged away. Boy, I sure can't wait to see where this goes in season 2. Oh. But what more is there to say, really? I'm sure this was most likely made as a result of Ern getting the offer to star in a live-action series and jumping at the chances it seems like a fun endeavor. But as it is, this show is really terrible. It's not funny, none of the characters are likable, and there are times when it feels like it's preaching stuff a little out of its reach. It's sort of like the Smosh movie, where you can tell Ian and Anthony are only there for the sake of a paycheck, and they were only brought on because they have a pre-established audience. I'd actually like to see Ern try his hand at creating and writing his own show someday. Not that I think it would be good, quite the opposite, but I don't know, I'd be curious to see what he did with that. Anyways, hope you're not too mad at me, Ern, given that we are such good friends. We're good, right? Yeah, we're friends, like, you know?
What's up, LS Mark? I was just thinking about how your videos are fantastic. They're my favorite videos ever that I've ever seen in the history of videos. And also, just between you and me, I was thinking about how awesome Sonic Heroes is. In fact, I was just thinking about how it might be the best game I've ever played in the whole world. If you can believe that. Keep that a secret. That's just between you and me, all right? Don't go posting this on YouTube, all right? If I see this video show up on YouTube,
Glad to hear it.